A prince squeezed tighter than ever, a Hollywood project with suspicious timing, and a humanitarian trip that raises eyebrows. The British royal family is entering a new storm, and no one is outside the story. In recent weeks, the picture surrounding Prince Andrew has grown darker by the day. Restrictions that were already severe are now being tightened even further. According to multiple reports, after being forced out of his remaining privileges within royal estates, Andrew has now reportedly been banned from horse riding, a detail that may sound minor, but carries heavy symbolic weight. For a man whose public image was once linked to hunting, riding, and aristocratic ceremony, the ban is a public signal. His place within royal life has been reduced to almost nothing. It is not merely about leisure activities. It is about status. And this latest move suggests that even the smallest reminders of royal privilege are now considered unacceptable. At the same time, political pressure is building on Keir Starmer. The Prime Minister is facing growing demands to release the full so-called Andrew files, documents believed to concern security decisions, movements, and official knowledge of the Duke of York's activities during the most controversial period of his life. Critics argue that continuing to withhold these papers only deepens public suspicion. Every refusal fuels the same question: what is being protected, and who? According to campaigners, secrecy is now the very thing keeping the scandal alive. Each attempt to close the subject instead reopens it. The silence itself has become the story. Another sensitive issue is now being discussed quietly in political circles: the line of succession. Despite losing his military titles and official royal duties, Andrew remains eighth in line to the throne. For many, this has become increasingly difficult to justify. How can someone excluded from royal representation still remain constitutionally connected to the crown's future? Sources suggest the government is examining legal and constitutional options, though any move in this area would be extremely delicate. The line of succession is not merely symbolic, it is rooted in centuries of tradition and law. Yet pressure is growing for reform, driven not by ideology, but by optics, the uncomfortable contrast between Andrew's public disgrace and his formal position. While Andrew's situation continues to deteriorate, another unexpected story has surfaced: the Hollywood ambitions of Sarah Ferguson, widely known as Fergie. Reports claim she attempted to pitch a television or film project to Hollywood just weeks before Andrew's legal troubles worsened. The timing has raised eyebrows. Was it coincidence, or an attempt to redirect attention? The project is described as a royal romantic novel, based on her own book Her Heart for a Compass. It was reportedly marketed as a blend of Bridgerton and The Crown, combining romance, history, and royal drama. But that comparison may be exactly what makes it controversial. The Crown has already angered the palace for dramatizing internal tensions and private struggles. A new royal-themed project, promoted by Andrew's former wife, risks being interpreted not as fiction, but as image management. Media analysts argue that approaching Hollywood at such a sensitive moment makes the project inseparable from Andrew's downfall. Even a love story set in the past can be read as an attempt to soften public perception of royal life, at a time when reality is harsh and unforgiving. Instead of escapism, the pitch has been absorbed into the same narrative of crisis: a family under scrutiny, and a former insider seeking relevance beyond the palace gates. Meanwhile, attention has also turned to Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, who announced a humanitarian visit to Jordan to meet aid organizations and medical workers. On paper, the trip is framed as charitable and constructive, but reaction in the British media has been far from neutral. Several presenters and commentators mocked the couple's claim that they are still supporting family values, pointing to the continuing rift between them and the royal family. The irony, critics say, lies in the contrast, speaking about unity while remaining distant from the institution that once defined them. For supporters, the trip represents independence and purpose. For detractors, it is a carefully staged exercise in moral branding. In the public imagination, the visit to Jordan becomes more than humanitarian work. It becomes part of a wider strategy: Harry and Meghan building a parallel identity, royal in style, but detached from royal authority. A soft monarchy, operating abroad while London struggles with scandal. The final chapter in this sequence of unsettling stories involves Ghislaine Maxwell. A former inmate from the federal prison in Tallahassee has shared what has been described as prison gossip, claiming Maxwell is known for poor hygiene, allegedly showering only once or twice a week. On its own, the detail seems trivial, but it has gained traction because of who Maxwell once was: a woman who moved in elite circles of wealth and influence. The contrast between that world and the reality of prison life reinforces the sense of total collapse. For the public, Maxwell's condition is not merely personal. It forms part of a broader narrative that still shadows Prince Andrew, a world of power now reduced to rumours, isolation, and decay. From Andrew's tightening restrictions, to pressure on the Prime Minister to release hidden files, from Fergie's Hollywood pitch, to Harry and Meghan's Jordan visit, and finally to grim prison rumours about Maxwell, all these threads now merge into a single, uncomfortable picture. The royal family finds itself surrounded by stories it cannot fully control. Silence has not closed the chapter. It has extended it. The question is no longer whether the scandal will fade, but whether the monarchy will confront it directly, or allow it to continue shaping public trust from the shadows. Because each day that passes, the attempt to move on seems to make the noise louder, not quieter.